Hello everybody and welcome to Magic at the Movies, the official podcast of As Yet Untitled, where we talk all things movies, TV shows, anything that we so fancy on that given week. I'm your host Joe, the official man for As Yet Untitled, and join me today, as always, is my co-host Robert.
Hello everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, very northern today.
Hello. We try.
How you doing, Robert?
Oh, okay. I'm very happy because we have Joe's dog next to me. And
Holly's very comfortable today. She's going to be very quiet.
Yeah.
Unless she hears or sees a bird, in which case we're losing her. We're losing her today.
So if you do hear any dog noises, that's because there is a dog with us, but she is more.
It's not our fault.
No, it's not.
It's not our fault at all.
Exactly. Blame her. All the blame on her.
All the blame on the dog, yeah.
I'm joking.
So, we're going to start today, before we get to our main topic, with our starting segment, which is what have you been up to? Now, last week, we said we were going to watch certain things, didn't we? Certain things. So, I'll ask you, Robert, what have you been up to this week?
Okay, so it's
nothing, it would seem.
Oh, I have. So it was my birthday, which was very, very lovely.
Happy birthday, Robert.
Thank
He
you.
is
21.
Yeah. The big 2-1.
I don't feel it. I feel like a 16-year-old, specifically a 16-year-old girl, but here we are.
Don't know how that makes me feel.
Then you are an 18-year-old.
Still seems wrong.
No, it's not. It's all good. I just don't feel
We're just
ready.
a couple guys hanging out.
Exactly. Just a couple of guys.
We'll get a few beers later. Choke them down.
Yeah, I just don't feel ready for adult life.
I'm not ready for it.
Ready. Take me back to simpler times.
Yeah.
But I did have a lovely birthday. Went out and got very drunk.
As you should.
Yeah.
Your
Exactly.
21st.
Yeah. And then went for a meal with my family and stuff. So that was very, very nice. But yeah, films that I saw: Speak No Evil. This time last week, which was a lot better than I thought, because I thought that the trailers looked god awful.
I thought the trailers looked alright.
Alright.
But I haven't seen it, but I hear.
Yeah.
James McAvoy is the only reason you should really see it.
He is. It's very by the numbers. Like, it's not in an intense horror. It's like usually when I see a horror film, I have my fingers in my ears because I hate jump scares.
I hate horror films in general. So
exactly. But I could sit there and watch this without flinching.
Yay.
Really. So, but it was a good time. It was a fun time at the cinema. Do I think that you should maybe wait for streaming if you're not that bothered? Yes, it is. You don't really need to see it in the cinema, but it's a nice time. Not a nice time. It's horrible what happens, but it's.
Is it definitely a horror film and less of a thriller?
I think it's more of a thriller. There are like horror elements.
I might be more down for it.
Yeah,
I prefer a horror film that's more thrilling than jump scary or horrific.
I don't think there
Which
is
why we're not seeing Terrifier 3. So if you wait for a review of that, it's not happening.
It's not. I might be seeing maybe.
Transformers 1 comes out on that day.
Yeah,
we're not seeing Terrifier 3.
Not doing that. Transformers,
which I hear is very good.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, and I think that's all. I think the first film that I've watched since being 21 was Miss Americana, the Taylor Swift documentary, which I have seen 3 times now, and it is my destiny to make it my most watched film of all time.
What's your most watched film so far?
I think either Cruella or
Hairspray.
Probably Hairspray. I haven't kept track of it, but that would probably be what. Mamma Mia as well. But also Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. I've seen that film so many. Well, like all the Harry Potter films, obviously.
Yes, of course.
In terms of how many I've logged since having Letterboxd, Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald has been up there a good 6 or 7 times. Miss Americana is only 3.
So you got your work cut out.
I'm gonna get there. It makes me feel very emotional each time I watch it because it's not just about her music. It's about when she took a stand against Trump, when she actually like came out and endorsed the other side, and how when she went away for a year because everyone hated her. Like after 1989, there was a year where everyone was just against her, and it was like very popular to hate her at the time, and sort of what happened and how she felt at that time. And it's still just as everything that is covered in that documentary is still just as relevant today, and it's terrifying, especially with the politics angle of it. But yeah, and then every time it finishes, I just have to give myself 5 minutes to sort of sit there because
think about what's happened.
Yeah, there's just something about it that's just very telling. It's like very timeless. It was made 4 years ago, but it's still very relevant. Like her career and politics. But yeah, you saw. Let me see if I can remember.
Oh, good memory.
The Critic.
I did see The Critic.
And Lee.
I did see Lee.
Yes.
Would you like to know what
such a good friend.
felt about
Yes,
him?
please.
The Critic, I thought, was fine.
Okay.
And was very much elevated by the performances in it.
Yeah.
You had Mark Strong. You had Gemma Arterton.
Yeah.
And you had Ian McKellen. And Ian McKellen was very, very good in this.
Good.
I thought, and I liked the messaging of the thing. I thought the messaging in it was important.
Yeah.
However, it's just a very by the numbers thing.
Right.
Okay. And it was kind of annoying because there's been a few films that are like centered around someone who is a critic or a reviewer of a thing, and it's never about that.
No. Right.
It's always like it starts with that and then it goes somewhere else with it. Like this becomes a sort of like a thing of lies and deceit and sort of like a thrilling drama, which was fine.
Yeah.
It's like it was a fine drama with some good performances, but it's not really. I just want to see something about the critiquing of film, really, which is what I think we're missing. Really, I couldn't give you give you a name of a film. There probably is something out there, but
the Quentin Tarantino project that is now known doesn't exist anymore. But he was planning his final film was supposed to be about a critic, and that would have
been nice to see.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tarantino could have done that justice.
Maybe not.
Because I don't think I think he would have not sided with the critic.
No, definitely.
Because of his opinions on critics.
Yeah.
Again, I thought the critic was fine. Lee, on the other hand, is by far my best film of the year so far.
So good.
I thought it was excellent. There is not a scrap of fat on it. It is poignant when it needs to be. It does not pull any punches when showing what actually happened in real life, the realism of it, the tragedy of war, all of the Holocaust stuff, of course. If you're really not into looking at stuff from the Holocaust, I would recommend staying away from this. But it is important to know. And quite frankly, if Kate Winslet is not even nominated for her performance in this, then what is the point of the Academy Awards or the BAFTAs or the Golden Globes? Because she deserves all of her flowers for this performance. I thought it was absolutely exceptional from her.
That's really good.
And I can't wait to watch it again because it's a Sky original. I'll probably have it soon, but I think it is still in cinemas.
Yeah.
So I implore you to go and watch Lee. Everyone who's watching, and you, Robert, because I think you would enjoy it. Yeah.
Would. I did watch the trailer and I thought it looked very good.
Yeah. So that's my disregarding all the technically 2023 films I saw at the start of the year. Yeah. This is my first 10 out of 10.
Oh,
of 2024.
That's amazing.
Hopefully it's not the last.
Yeah.
I've had a few 9 and 8 out of 10s that I've given out, but no, this is the first 10 out of 10 perfect movie of the year.
Oh, really good to hear. I'm seeing Star Wars tomorrow, A New Hope in the cinema, but that's not.
Oh yes, Star Wars. A film that was just called Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
It's all right to just call that one Star Wars.
Exactly, but they had to change it because people are silly.
No, George Lucas changed it.
Oh right, George Lucas is silly. But yeah, so I have like the whole day, and I'm not doing that until the evening, so I might see that before because it is still playing. So
I think he changed it because I don't know if it was for Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. He just decided to have the official title of it be Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Now this was before the prequels.
Oh, right.
So people were going, well, where are episodes 1, 2, and 3?
Where have they gone? Oh gosh, George, have you been up to anything else this week?
Anything else this week? I have just been doing the regular old stuff.
How was the Top Gun Grand Tour? Finale.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
I haven't got to it. I'm sure I'm gonna cry.
Yes, I've heard.
Yeah, especially after I go through this marathon.
Yeah.
And what I can tell you from this Top Gear marathon, Series 10, stellar television.
Okay.
If you want to watch any Top Gear, watch Series 10. That is the most Top Gear series that you will ever watch.
Right.
Because a lot of the stuff that you remember from Top Gear, I feel, is from that series.
Right. Okay.
I'm probably just past that.
Yeah.
Say if you want to start anywhere,
maybe
Series 8, but you can start at Series 10.
Okay.
And then get to like Series 22, I think it is, of Top Gear, and then watch the Grand Tours. They did, and they've done more series after that because they continued after them, didn't they?
Without, did they do it without the main?
Yes, they did. Because Jeremy punched a producer.
Yes.
So he was fired, and then they did like a finale thing,
right?
Like the last two things that they'd filmed.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy did a thing with Prime, and then James and Richard joined him, and that's how you got the Grand Tour.
Are they similar?
Quite similar,
right.
I would say. It's basically just what they were continuing what they were doing.
Yeah.
And then Top Gear was continuing with Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Not the actor.
No,
the ginger one. Radio presenter. And Matt LeBlanc.
Oh, that's
from Friends.
Choice.
I think they did it because those two are big petrol heads.
Oh right. Okay.
Like they really like their cars.
Right. I see.
And they're both quite funny. I could see where they were going with it.
Yeah.
It just didn't work the same way.
And
like Chris Evans was gone after like the first series of his, but Matt LeBlanc stuck around for a couple more series, and then it was someone who was like a very known like car person, and then Paddy McGuinness and Freddie Flintoff, and that's how it finished.
Right.
Because it's done now.
They're
not doing any more. I've seen some. I don't know.
But no,
it's like they weren't my guys.
No.
Not my guys. It's not what I was there for. I was watching the Grand Tour at that point. So
yeah, I think
which I thought at that point was better.
Yeah.
So there you go. I've not done much else in my week. I've got the house to myself and I've got a dog to look after. So.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you've got priorities.
Yeah, of course. I've been playing a lot of Astro Bot.
I was going to say, is that the one? But I've got no idea what that is.
Well, it's a video game on the PlayStation 5. Of course, I've got a PlayStation 5, and it's basically there's a little robot called Astro.
Is it like the Playroom robots?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
the Playroom robots, and
yeah.
So they did the Playroom.
Yeah.
And then they did like a different thing, and then they had like a Astro Bot like VR thing.
Right.
And then when the PS5 came out, and even when you buy a PS5 now, it comes with a free game called Astro's Playroom. It's like a little just a little mini game.
Yeah.
To like get your chops into like the technology of the PS5 and how it works. Right. And it does it very well. It shows you all the stuff that the console can do.
Right. Yeah.
And Astro Bot is a continuation of it. And it's a full game that you can buy.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly fun.
It did look fun. I remember I was just sat in Nando's in Liverpool, and trailer for it, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty fun.
It's a very good, very fun
Yeah.
platformer
Okay.
with the likes of like Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Odyssey.
That's a
And I really
beautiful
liked
comparison.
Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, that's a great game.
It's probably my favourite Mario game.
Yeah.
I think it's better than Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh.
100%.
That's
I
a
think it's
big-
better.
That's a big.
All the
Big
little
words.
like different like mechanics that it does,
Yeah.
and how it like utilizes the machinery
Right.
and all the different little cameos
yeah,
that you
yeah.
love. It like really tests your video game knowledge. Of like,
Oh.
hey, that's that guy, and that's that guy, and that's that guy. The one that really got me was, do you remember Buzz?
Not Lightyear.
No, not Lightyear. On the PS2, you could get games called Buzz.
Right.
It was like a game show sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
So you get like the big quiz, and there was a sport
Yeah.
quiz, and there was a music quiz, and all that. You can get them on the PS2, and you had like like a thing that went into your PS2 that had like different like separate like buzz controllers, like you on a game show.
Right.
It had like different tiles, and then a
Yeah.
buzz button. So it's
Right.
like you were playing a game show.
Yeah.
And Buzz is in this as one of the cameos.
Oh, that's
And it's like it was a real blast from the past
Yeah.
for me, because it was like a big thing for the family. We all
Yeah.
played Buzz,
Oh.
so yeah, it's probably like doing a big thing for like a lot of people,
Yeah.
like that. Like all just a small, tiny cameos
Yeah.
of like the history of PlayStation.
That's
Like
really
it's got
cool.
like it's got your big names like your Nathan Drakes from Uncharted, and it's got your God of Wars and your Horizon Zero Dawns, and but like just smaller ones as well.
Yeah. That's
So yeah, it's like a love letter to PlayStation, and I think it's excellent.
That's
It's probably going to win
great.
Game of the Year.
Oh my god, that is big.
I would say it's going to win Game of the Year,
Oh
because
my
it's
god.
pretty much perfect game.
To go from like basically a presentation of a fun way to show you how a new console works to make a game that is as good as what you say is, like, that's a very big thing. That's
Yeah.
like
So
come a long way.
so I would say if you've got a PS5
Yeah.
and you still haven't played Astro Bot,
Yeah.
play Astro Bot.
That's a great review. I'm gonna watch someone play because I don't have a PS5. but
Yeah,
I
of
will-
course. Yeah,
I'll watch someone
live
play.
through them.
Yeah, exactly. You watch them play it, so you don't have to go through all the stress of not beating certain levels.
True. I'll let you have a play with it after this.
Oh, fun! Brilliant.
You gotta do something with your day.
True. I'm currently playing Princess Peach Showtime,
Yeah.
and I'm not good at it.
You're not good at it, are you?
There are two controls,
And,
There is A and
and you
B.
and you suck at both.
and I really do.
What does A do?
A is like the action, or maybe it's jump. You can switch.
I don't even know which ones
I
do
switched them
what.
round. I switched them round. I think it usually is jump, and then B is the action. So it's just like
Why did you switch them round?
because usually B is for jump.
B is for jump, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you switch. So A
Yeah.
was for jump, and then
Yeah.
you switched it to
And then I
B.
switched them.
Okay.
But then I get confused because then I'm like, oh, I was getting used to playing it the other way, but now I've switched the controls, so then like a life will get lost because I didn't jump at the right time, and it's just very it's made for 7-year-olds, and it's not like a big game. It's not particularly difficult. I'm just crap at it.
It's all right. Some people are just crap at video games. I'm not very good at video games, but I still enjoy them.
Okay.
That's why I don't play any online stuff.
Oh gosh.
I'll just be crap by myself.
I know people that do that, and I'm like, how are you? I watched.
I will say,
routines.
in regards to the age rating,
Yeah.
you say it's a 7.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Okay.
FIFA can be a very difficult game,
True.
and that's a 3. That's a Peggy 3.
I guess so. Yeah. Peggy 3.
Yeah, so don't be embarrassed about how good or bad you are at video games.
I'll remember that next time I'm playing and I'm killed by a grape in Princess Peach Showtime. It's fun.
From this doc, I assume you've got a Switch.
Yes.
You've got a Switch. Okay.
I do enjoy my Switch.
What's your favourite Switch game?
I think it's just because of the one. Well, I can't really decide between Hogwarts Legacy because it's.
Oh, you've
just
got that
I'm
on
a
the
big
Switch.
fan,
Okay, yeah.
and it's obviously a bit different because the graphics aren't as good.
Yeah, they have to
and
like
it's a bit slower,
put it down. Yeah.
But it's still really fun, and it's just mad that a massive game like that can fit in like a handheld console.
Yeah.
And it's
Because
fun,
they've
but
got
I
like,
get
because they've got
bored with it.
Doom as well. I think they ported Doom onto it,
and like Red Dead Redemption
and
stuff.
Red Dead Redemption.
So it's that, or Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, just because I'm having fun getting all the collectibles.
I also enjoy
stuff
that.
at the moment.
I platinum
So many
that.
characters.
I platinum that. It took hundreds of hours of my life.
Which, deservedly so. Cause
I was
so
enjoying
much
myself.
fun. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Nintendo Switch for the win.
It's a great console.
It is.
It is a great console. Anyway, I think
it's fine. It's fine.
I think we spent enough time.
Yeah. It's like we had major things to talk about, major developments in our lives.
Of course, yes.
Argue. So, it's fun. I bet you guys appreciate it.
Yeah. It's just a window.
Yeah.
Into our souls.
Exactly. You get to know us more.
Get to know us more. Our likes, our dislikes.
Yeah.
You can send us gifts in the post.
Yes, thank you.
We don't have a PO box, but if you know us personally, then
just give us a few gifts.
You've got Christmas is coming up. We're nearly there.
Just letting
you've got some good ideas. My birthday's next month.
There you go.
Is all I'm saying.
It's all I'm saying.
I'm not gonna say any more than that.
Just throwing it out there.
Just throwing it out. Anyway, it's time for us to get to our main topic of the week, and we have decided that comic book movies are sort of everywhere, but they are mostly dominated, as they are in the comic book industry, by the big two.
Yes.
That being Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
Although technically in the comic book world, DC's number 3, because Image is bigger than DC.
That's very interesting.
Because no one cares about DC anymore. It is a shame. But we've decided that this week we are going to bring to your attention some movies and TV shows that are based on comic books that you may not have known were based on comic books because they are either not made by Marvel or DC or are not about superheroes.
Yes.
Which takes up most of the comic book medium.
Yeah.
It's like all of Hollywood's mostly made out of action films.
Yeah.
It's of a similar vein.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, a few caveats.
Okay.
This is going to include stuff not by Marvel or DC. That includes all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and everything that Marvel has made outside of the MCU.
Yes.
This includes Blade and all the Fox stuff and Howard the Duck.
Oh.
Yeah, can't talk about Howard the Duck.
Damn it.
That was Marvel's first feature film.
Really?
Howard the Duck. And of course, this all of DC's various stuff. A bit harder to keep track of DC's, but it also includes Watchmen, which is a DC property, and also means we can't talk about V for Vendetta as well, because it was made by Vertigo, which is a subsidiary of DC.
Right. Okay.
And also, while I was looking at the list of stuff, I found a thing. Where is it? Oh, there was a thing that I'm getting so confused now. I got rid of a thing because. All right, there it is. I was gonna talk about Men in Black.
Right.
Because Men in Black is a good thing, because if people don't know, also based on a comic book thing, because it comes up with based on the graphic novel.
Yeah.
From all the Men in Black films. Unfortunately.
Oh no.
The Men in Black original comic. The Men in Black original comic was published by Aircell Comics.
Okay.
Aircell Comics was acquired by Malibu Comics. Malibu Comics was then purchased by Marvel Comics.
Oh, okay.
So therefore, that makes Men in Black a Marvel comic. So therefore, we cannot talk about Men in Black.
That's a shame.
It was also called The Men in Black as well.
They just took out the.
They just took out the. So
That
Men in Black works.
We can't talk about Men in Black International.
I know. I know how much you love that garbage. But we are gonna be talking about comic book movies and TV shows that you will probably know. Yeah. Robert, do you want to get started with a comic book movie that you know and like that isn't Marvel or DC?
Yes. Kingsman.
Perfect.
1 and 2, I like. The first one is my favourite. I really like the second one.
The Golden Circle.
Yeah, I think it's very underrated. I don't really know why it was slated as much as it was. Like, people still enjoy it, but critically it is not as successful as the first one.
Because it's not as... I don't think it's as... It doesn't hit as hard. It's not as well made as the first one, I think.
Yeah. I still like it a lot. First one's still better, and then they did The King's Man, which I still enjoyed, but no one asked for it. No one needed it. It's like everyone forgot about it. You know, it's a fun time. It's interesting to see, you know, the organisation in the past. But I think most audiences don't care about, like, certain things happening in the past, like, that are already established, apart from, like, Star Wars and stuff. If you're continuing the story of the characters that you already know. But in this case, it wasn't. It was all the characters were basically new, and it's still enjoyable. But
I feel like I like The King's Man definitely a lot more than The Golden Circle.
Oh, do you?
I haven't very much of the normal thing of The Golden Circle.
Right.
I can take it or leave it.
Okay.
It's fine.
Right.
I think it's a bit lower than fine.
Right. Okay.
If we were doing our system of yay or nay, I think it would be a nay.
Oh, okay. That's
but
fair enough.
there are some enjoyable moments in it.
Yeah. I love Julianne Moore in it.
Do
you not like her in it?
I liked Pedro Pascal in it.
Yeah, he's good.
I thought he was great.
Like Elton John.
I liked Elton John in it.
Elton John's brilliant.
Especially it got to that action sequence to Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting, which I thought was excellent. And the briefcase machine gun and all that. But it was like treading on old ground with bringing back Colin Firth, which I don't think he needed to do.
No.
And all that. I'll give you some brief history on Kingsman. It's initially an Image comic and was created by Mark Millar, who he gets around as Mark Millar.
He gets around.
If you don't know, he also created Kick-Ass.
Right. Okay.
And a bunch of other very good stuff that is all created around, and it's made him insanely rich. For a comic book person.
Yeah.
For a comic book person, it's made him insanely rich.
Those are two good properties.
Yes. And it was initially it's just like a standalone graphic novel.
Oh, okay.
They have done Image have done like different stuff with it. They've broadened it around, but the initial thing, it was just the one single thing.
Right.
Now the two main characters, the two different names as well. Although the styling of them, the Colin Firth and the Taron Egerton one, very similar to the comic, although they've got different names in the film. But yeah, Kingsman, very good choice for a comic book movie.
So do the storylines of the first two have anything to do with the comics?
They're quite similar.
Right. Okay.
I would say.
That's pretty.
It's all about a My Fair Lady.
Right.
Sort of thing.
Flipped.
Sort of flipped.
Yeah. So do we see like the American Kings?
No. That's pretty. Basically, the Golden Circle and the King's Man are all sort of Matthew Vaughn. Right. They're from the Twisted Mind of Matthew Vaughn.
Twisted Mind of Matthew Vaughn.
Out of the thing that came out this year. It was a while ago. What was it called?
Also kind of.
It's not.
It's not Kingsman,
it's
but
not.
it can.
I will concede that is not in the same universe. It's just a nod.
Oh, okay.
To whatever it was called. I can't remember.
Argyle.
It was called Argyle. It had so many people in it. So many wasted people.
Yeah.
Not talking about Argyle. I'm talking about Kingsman because it's a good one. I mean, Kingsman. The first one. I just love, especially that church sequence.
Yes. Oh my gosh! I'll never forget
so
watching
great.
that. I think I was too young to watch the first one, and then when that scene happened, I mean, obviously there's a lot in it beforehand that happens as well, but I'll never forget seeing that scene for the first time and just being like, oh my god, because I knew Colin Firth from like Mamma Mia and Nanny McPhee.
And now you're seeing him massacre a bunch of racists.
So I was like, oh my gosh. My dad didn't like it because it was too violent, and I remember being like,
Posh. Psh. You're not seen Terrifier 2.
Exactly. Oh.
Would you like me to give you another comic book movie?
Yes, please hit me.
I'm gonna give you a surprising one.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go for the entire series. I'm just gonna go for the one film that I feel you should watch that best encapsulates the characters from the comic book.
Okay.
And that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem.
Brilliant.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, created in the 90s, I want to say, by Scott Eastman and Peter Laird. It was initially a black and white comic, and they were teenage, they were ninjas, they were mutants, and they were turtles. And they all had the little bandanas on, but you couldn't tell which one was which.
That's such an integral part of.
That was only created. I've done like research on the turtles, and that was only created for the TV show, so kids could tell which one was which. So Donatello was given purple, Leonardo was blue, and Raphael was red, Michelangelo was orange, and then that transcended into the toys as well, and then also transcended into the comic books.
Okay.
And then of course you got the original 3 movies as well, and
So I've not seen those.
all the animated ones and the Michael Bay ones.
I've seen the Michael Bay one. That was the first film I bought on Blu-ray.
Wow.
I just needed something to test my Blu-ray player. I remember
My first Blu-ray was The Dark Knight. Your first Blu-ray was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the live action one, where they don't really look like turtles.
It's the exact same situation as the original Transformers films, because Megan Fox it's just not those characters, and it's full of so many like adult jokes that is just crude and not funny. I hate like that, and I know a lot of people really like the first Transformers films, but they're very much in the same vein for
I
me.
think the first Michael Bay one is fine. The rest of them can get in the bin.
I like Bumblebee.
I wasn't talking about Bumblebee. All the other Michael Bay ones.
Yeah.
Bumblebee, Rise of the Beasts.
Yeah.
I quite like.
I agree with that. But
you know why? Because you can tell them all apart. The Autobots look colourful, and the Decepticons also look colourful.
And they're not telling sexist and racist.
Yes,
jokes.
they're not. Yeah, they're not talking about sex and all that.
They're not being like hyper.
Have you seen? I don't know if you've seen them all. By the 5th one, I think that's called the one's called The Last Night. I think.
Yeah.
That's like a PG-13, I think. And I think at that point, Michael Bay had realised that in a PG-13, you can say shit as much as you want. Because that word is used a lot in that film.
That embodies what I hate about them so much. Is it's not anything to do with what fans loved about those characters and stuff in the first place. It's just
Optimus Prime murders a lot of people
it's
without any remorse.
It's bizarre. It really is.
In the second one, the guy with the big cucumber head that he kills.
Yeah.
You know what he says just before he kills him? Give me your face. They make the beautiful Peter Cullen, who has voiced Optimus Prime forever, say that.
It's so I can't even get past it. But then it's like the exact. He didn't learn from his mistakes with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's not as like to that scale.
He does the same thing over and over and over again.
And it's just, and then they made a sequel, which I haven't seen, and I will never watch because I was so like appalled by the first one. But let's get on to, and
a good Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one. Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah.
This is very fun. It cast actual teenagers as the turtles, which means like the camaraderie between them felt like very good.
Yeah.
It's beautifully stylized. How it looks is incredible. It's got all like favorite characters.
Yeah.
Leads up to a second one in the post credits.
Yes. Which
That is a perfect Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle film. Is very much reminiscent of the feeling of the turtles in the comics. I feel.
Yeah.
I am excited for another one. I hope they make another one. I'm sure they are.
There's a series at the moment.
There's a series on like Paramount Plus. I haven't seen it.
No, I don't think I will bother if I'm going to be honest.
No, I probably won't. They're not the same art style.
Yeah.
I think it's just like something to have in between.
You know when
for your kids.
Sort of wish that they'd put that time that they were spending making that into the sequel, so that we'd maybe get it a bit sooner. Because I don't think we'll get that until 2026.
Seth Rogen's a busy man.
He is very.
He keeps himself busy with like a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of stuff.
Yeah. We'll be talking about stuff that he's also directly involved in.
But it's just like it doesn't need to have that spin-off. You know, a lot of things do. DreamWorks do it all the time, and they always have a spin-off.
Different spin-offs and little tiny shows and all that.
Like only like little kids watch, really.
But it is for little kids.
Yeah.
At the end of the
Which
day,
is fair enough.
It's not for us. Are you saying we're little children, Robert?
Yeah.
Maybe a heart.
I just want the second one really bad. I was so impressed by the first.
Yes, I can hardly wait for the second one because I know it will be. So that is also a comic movie that you can watch and enjoy.
Very good.
It's going to be a good list, I feel, for people.
Yeah.
Would you like to give us another option?
Can I do a TV show?
You can do a TV show.
One of my favourite TV shows ever is The Boys.
The Boys. Yes.
I don't even know how to put into words. I don't think it's a perfect show, but I think every season has been consistent, and I include season 4. I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with season 4.
I think people have problems with season 4 because it's not as good as season 3.
Yeah,
I think that's the only problem they have with it.
Yeah.
I thought season 4 was great.
Yeah.
Especially if it like ties up, it helps tie up all the loose ends.
Yeah.
Going into season 5.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for season.
Season 5. Season 5 is the last season.
And stuff is gonna go down but it's just, I think what makes this show stick in my mind is, especially when you think of Marvel shows, particularly now, is that every season and sort of every episode has something significant happen that moves the story forward, and it has like a talking point each week.
Yes.
Especially and I thought season 4 did that very well. Like big things were always happening, whereas like Marvel shows, sometimes it just leads to nowhere, or season 2, whereas this, they very much stand on their own. I know that season 4 builds to season 5, but I think it still stands on its own really well and sets up season 5 very well.
I think that was fun because I think they'd already announced that season 5 was going to be the last season. So it was like, all right, we can build up to that, because then people are going to be even more anticipating, if they weren't already, the final season.
Definitely.
And I think that makes sense with the people that are behind the show, because the people behind the show also did Supernatural.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Supernatural's got 13, 14 seasons.
Yeah.
But they left after the 5th season, because if you watch Supernatural, it works until the 5th season. You could leave after season 5.
And then
because the creators always intended for it to be 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And then it was like the studio and it made it into more, but they left by season 5.
I see.
So their obvious plan is to make the Boys as well into 5 seasons, and then they can and then Amazon can spin it off and do whatever they want, because they've got Gen V now as well.
And I really like Gen V as well. That was also something when it was announced. I was like, do you really need it? And then I watched it and I was like, I think this is just
I need this in my life.
Yes. So I can't wait for season 2. I think maybe that falls maybe a little more victim to just leading up to a season more than The Boys does, but it's also very difficult to have this new spin-off show that you still have to interlock because the ending of it coincides a little bit with season 4 of The Boys. Not as much as we maybe would have hoped, really, but season 2 is very much going to explore that, and then we're going to go into season 5. So we're eating good. The Boys fans have always got stuff, and spin-offs are planned for after season 5. I just hope that it's just a bit different, and it's not carrying sort of the main storyline on. It needs to end because I get people's complaints where it's like each season is very similar, where it's like they're having arguments and they're having to go and do this, and then they're teaming up for a bit, and then
blood,
they're back to it.
and then lots of blood.
I get that, but I think it's done really well. Like those,
it is done very
events, well. Yeah. So I just hope that season 5 is where it ends, and it ends, at a good position. Yeah, we're all wondering if Homelander's going to die. We're just wondering.
Let's hope so.
How. Yes, I hope he does.
Let's really hope so.
Yes, because that's what this has been building up towards.
I feel like it has, yes. Yeah. Because the comic that this show is based off might as well just be The Boys in name only. I will say. The Boys, the initial comic. I think it's by Dark Horse. It might be by Image. I think it's by Dark Horse though.
Okay.
Drastically different.
Right.
I would say. I mean, the characters all have the same name.
Yeah.
And there's mention of like all different characters in the show and in the comics. But stuff goes very different in the comics than it does in the show. I would say the show is actually better than the comic.
I have heard.
So I wouldn't say I would say this will be the first one I say don't bother with the comic.
Right.
Just watch the show. But also a nice touch. Huey in the comics, his look. Because he's supposed to be Irish.
Right.
But his look is based on Simon Pegg.
Oh. Okay.
Which is why.
Yeah.
Simon Pegg plays Huey's dad.
That's a really good touch.
And why he does it for not a lot of money.
Yeah.
So they put him in because even Simon Pegg went, I think I've aged out of Huey.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll be his dad. So it's just a nice touch from the creators.
And they gave him a massive send off in season 4.
Big send off for Simon Pegg.
One of the biggest moments of that season, I think.
Sleeps for most of it, then comes in with a bang. That is probably the best episode. I thought that was great
because it's so heartbreaking, and it's just you would have never have expected something like that to happen, and that's the thing. It's like that's a massive thing to talk about.
Yeah.
That develops the story further, and I think they've got some sort of magic sauce there where it just works, and so excited to see how it's going to end.
Do you know Black Noir?
Yes.
Do you know who he is in the comics?
Who?
He's just a clone of Homelander.
Oh, I think I might have heard someone like theorize that about the new Black Noir.
It's not though.
No, it's not. But they were like, oh, what if it is a clone of Homelander? And I was like, no idea what's being talked about. But if that is what they go with, I'm sure they'll make it work. But
yeah, they could make it work.
I'm glad that they haven't.
But again, I like how the show's gone.
Yeah.
In a different direction.
Yes, definitely. I like how if superheroes were to live in our world, this is a very
this is a very very much what it could be like. Excuse me, the dog wants to go out.
It's okay.
Let the dog out. Ooh.
Have fun.
She'll come in a minute. Oh, my knees really felt that as I got up.
Stretch them out.
Good God, I'm old. I'm only 23.
You've got so much life still left in you.
Okay, so we've got The Boys.
Yeah.
Another good option. I'm gonna give you another obscure one that people might not remember is initially from a comic, and it's The Mask.
Oh, okay.
The Mask, starring Jim Carrey.
Ta-da.
very much like a thing that launched Jim Carrey into the stratosphere, because he did. It was in 1994. He did Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, and The Mask all in 1 year.
Oh my
He had a
God.
stellar year. And that's when he could bump his price up. To how much money he gets for things.
That's insane.
But The Mask. Do you enjoy The Mask?
I have only seen it once.
Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. It was good. I remember my mum gets very creeped out. Jim Carrey creeps her out. So
Just as a person.
just because he's so wacky and like over the
He's
top.
got a face that does a lot of
Yeah.
stuff.
I think that's what it is.
They actually saved a lot on visual effects because he could do stuff with his face that
So
other people
expressive.
couldn't. Yeah.
So she only likes the Truman Show because he's not as weird in that. But
Has she seen Eternal Sunshine?
I don't think she has because I
Mm.
think she would quite like.
I think she would quite.
But I think I just remember it was on TV one day, and I remember watching it, and I remember liking it. I don't remember too much from it, if I'm honest. I've got friends that love it and quote it all the time, and I'm just like, I don't know what that's from because I can't remember it. But I remember liking
They say
it.
smoking.
Yeah.
Somebody
I know that one,
stop
yeah.
me.
But it's cool that it's based off a comic. I didn't.
Yeah.
know that.
So Jim Carrey takes it in a different direction.
Right. Okay.
Because if you remember, he's just a big fun, sort of goofy guy. But The Mask elevates your personality.
Right. Okay.
As it's shown in the film.
Mm.
Because when Jim Carrey gets the mask,
Yeah.
he's all wacky and stuff. He's doing different things, and when the bad guy of that, Dorian, I believe he's called, gets the mask, comes like a big, hulking mass of a man. Of course, and also it's from like the trickster god Loki as well.
Yeah.
Is where the mask is from.
Yeah.
So it's got like Norse mythology like mixed into it. But the initial mask, the dog wants to come in. Hang on, Phil, Robert, Phil,
that little face.
Phil.
I am filling. Hi, Holly.
And we're back, and she's gotten very licky. Okay, calm down, Hulk. Calm down. I know. Anyway, The Mask.
Is Holly's favourite.
The original comic, much more violent.
Oh.
Like a lot more violent. Like, yes, it brings out your inhibitions,
Yeah.
but not your good ones. So, I don't know if you recall that bit where he gets cornered in the film where Jim Carrey, as the Mask, gets cornered by the police, and to get out of it, he does a big samba,
Yeah.
and they do a conga line, and then he slips away. In the comic, instead of doing a big samba line, he gets out 2 massive machine guns and murders a lot of them.
Oh my God. I think we might
And
have
then
to
when he
watch
gets
this
home, he takes the
episode.
mask off, and then his girlfriend kills him and takes the mask.
Oh my God.
Yes, people who wear the mask don't tend to last that long in the comic. So yeah, the film is very much, very much not like the comic at all. It's what I could say.
That is bizarre. I would have never have thought that.
Just look up the Mask comic and then put
Yeah.
panels on, and you're gonna be real shocked.
I'm very intrigued.
It's a very
about
horrific
it.
comic.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. No.
It's fun though, sort of fun, I guess. But I would prefer watching the Mask
Yes,
over reading
yes,
the comic
yes.
any day because it's just a
Less
big fun
traumatic
time.
and
Less traumatic, and Jim Carrey just gets to do some wild things.
And that's when we love Jim Carrey.
And that's why we love Jim Carrey.
He does great things.
You've just been out, Hall. What are you on?
Oh, bless
All
her.
right.
Look at her.
Alright. I'm sorry, everyone. I've got a very pretentious dog. Thinks I'm it. I'm
I mean,
hip.
she is it though. You can't deny
She
that
is it.
She's the it girl.
Have you got another comic book movie or TV show for me, Robert?
I'm hoping that it's not Marvel, but Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
It is not Marvel or DC. Scott
God.
Pilgrim versus the World.
Yes. Love and I can't really remember an experience quite like it. Really, the first time I watched it, it's one that I'd like known about for a while, but had just put off for no particular reason, and finally got around to watching it, and then was like all I could sort of think about for about a week or so, because I was just impressed with just how insane and bizarre and loud it was,
and loud.
and loud. It's got such a massive personality,
And it's very much like the comic, I will say.
is it? Because
Yes.
they did that animated series recently, didn't they?
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim takes off.
Yeah. So is that the same art style as the comics?
Pretty much.
Right.
Yes. The comic is called Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life, I believe. It's not called Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Oh.
Which is why in Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, the thing that he writes is called Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life.
Oh, I see. I've not watched it, but
it's also a sort of a perfect trifecta
right.
at the same time, because the book it's based on is great, and then the film they made out of it is great, and then there's also a video game that they made out of it, and that's also great. And it's very rare to have a good book, a good film, and a good game as well. So I think people love Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, well, definitely.
It's a good film to like, even if you're probably not supposed to like Scott Pilgrim himself. Because I'm going to let you in on a little secret, people who like Scott Pilgrim as a person. He's not meant to be a good person.
Right. Okay.
He makes mistakes.
Yeah.
He does stuff wrong. And that is very much put in the comics as well.
Okay.
And as well in the new TV show.
Right.
And sort of in the in the film.
Yeah, like a hint of it.
Yeah.
In the film.
He's cheating on his girlfriend in the film.
Yeah.
I think, very evident.
I think. Would you argue that it's Edgar Wright's most beloved, or?
It's definitely not his most beloved film.
Right.
It's probably either Edgar Wright's probably most beloved film is either Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be those,
Yes.
I feel. But Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, an excellent Edgar Wright film.
Yeah.
Edgar Wright is probably my favourite director
Yeah, he's amazing.
ever. I love everything he's done, from Space to the most recent one.
He should have been allowed to have full creative control over
Ant-Man. If we just had Edgar Wright as an Ant-Man.
Yeah.
It would probably be a lot. I think Ant-Man would be in a much better position than he is now.
Yeah, I think so.
Because he still had partly control of what the story did.
Yeah.
So
And you can see
much of what works in the first one, I would say, is a lot down to Edgar Wright.
Definitely.
We're talking about Marvel.
Sorry.
We got sidetracked by Marvel again. No. The hell. But Scott Pilgrim, I adore that film.
Yeah,
That film is just so. It just gets it.
Yeah.
It gets the character.
It's so funny.
And it's so funny as well.
I love the song Black Sheep as well that Brie Larson sings in it. I love that.
That's a good song.
Um,
That Brie Larson can sing.
She can.
Okay, she's so talented.
I love Brie Larson so much. She's coming to the West End.
But why does everyone hate her?
I don't
know.
Like, it was that thing
She
said
seems
about,
very likable.
I know. I've always loved her. I've never not. And I think she's really good as Captain Marvel. We're talking about Marvel again. Oh my god.
People say, "Oh, well, did you see how she was in that interview with when she was interviewing with Chris Hemsworth?" And how would you react if you were put in the same room as your ex?
Yeah, exactly.
They're both trying to make the best out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. I've always loved her. And she's coming to the West End in 2025, so I really want to go and see her in whatever it is. But yeah, love that. And she's done so much other stuff.
Other stuff, yes, she has done other stuff
that put her on the map in the first place. Room, for example.
Room, yeah.
Which is brilliant.
Very good. She's good in Kong Skull Island as well.
She is good in Kong Skull Island.
Good in Kong.
She's great. I love her.
I'm watching Lessons in Chemistry as well.
Is that good?
She's pretty good in that.
Oh,
I thought it was all right, and I thought she was very good in it.
is that Apple TV?
It's Apple TV. That's why you've not seen it.
Yeah, because I just can't commit to another.
You can't.
streaming
Yeah,
service.
I mean, yeah.
The only thing with Apple is that like there's a lot of great content. But
The only
there's
reason
not a lot
I've
of,
got
like,
so many is because
console
I have them for like different like
Yeah.
memberships and stuff.
Yeah. So, no, if
Honestly.
I ever get Apple, that'll be one of the first things that I watch.
Yeah, not Ted Lasso.
I probably will watch Ted Lasso
Oh,
as
look,
well.
you watch Ted
because-
Lasso and Lessons in Chemistry and Monarch. And,
Yeah, I get told at least once a week to watch Ted Lasso by somebody in the world.
and I think there's a show on it. I can't quite remember what the name of it is, but in one episode, a woman has sex with a duck.
Okay.
I'm not making this up.
I might just get
There
it.
is
just for that.
there is a TV show.
Oh my god.
It's like based on like animals, like relationships with animals.
Right.
Not all romantic relationships, I don't think. But just in this one episode, this woman has a relationship with a duck
Okay.
that she can hear talking, and she has sex with a duck,
Okay.
and she seems to like it.
Right.
As feathers are going everywhere, and the duck's flapping like that. She has sex with a duck. Is all I'm saying.
Okay.
It's
well,
odd.
I will be signing up immediately. How did we get onto this?
I don't know.
We're talking about Scott Pilgrim. And then
And I'm talking about a woman who had sex with a duck.
well, you know, it's original.
If you haven't seen Scott Pilgrim, please watch Scott Pilgrim and read the comic and play the video game as well.
Yeah.
They're both exceptional. I'm going to give you another one here.
Right.
I'm not going to go obscure. I'm going to go for one of my favourites.
Okay.
Dread.
Dread. So this is one I know familiarity with.
No familiarity with Dread. Dread is not the first Judge Dredd film. They had another one called Judge Dredd. It starred Sylvester Stallone.
Right.
Because he's Sylvester Stallone,
Yep.
took his helmet off all the goddamn time, and it's not very good.
Right.
Although it looks good,
Okay.
it's got the look of
Yeah.
a Judge Dredd film.
Right.
Now, Judge Dredd is probably very near and dear to a lot of British comic book fans, as he comes from a British comic book staple called 2000 AD. He is the poster boy for 2000 AD. Dredd, the new one, well, the more new one, starring Carl Urban
Oh, okay.
as the titular character, who plays
Great.
Billy Butcher in The Boys.
Love him.
He's also in Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
and in Star Trek.
Yeah.
He gets around on
And
the
Marvel.
and
Oh,
yeah, he's Scourge
It's
in
good.
Marvel.
Kate Blanchett's bitch.
Yeah,
basically.
Kate Blanchett, bitch. Until he wasn't, and he took out Des and Troy. We're doing it again.
Oh my god.
We can't stop.
It
I was
all
saying he's
comes
been a
back.
lot. He's been a lot of iconic
Plus.
popular culture stuff. He is probably one of the most beloved people if he goes to a Comic Con.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of fan bases that,
And he does
Love
his
him.
own art and stuff.
and he does his own art and stuff. Carl Urban, great guy.
He's got a lot of feathers in his cap.
You got to trust the New Zealanders.
Yes, you do.
Anyway, Dread,
Mm.
starring Carl Urban, is an excellent film.
Okay.
And I think it almost automatically gets what Judge Dredd is about.
Right.
He's like a firm but fair lawman who also has to be a judge, a jury, and an executioner at the same time. His gun is kick-ass. There's a lot of really cool stuff. And the film sort of sets up as it's got Lena Headey in it as well
Cool.
from Game of
Like
Thrones.
it. Yeah.
And she's like the main big bad that he's chasing.
Right.
And it sort of counts because it's all sets in this one building
Right.
to save money. It's an independent film, which is why, and it didn't make a lot of money, which is why
Right.
I've not seen another one.
That's a
But
shame.
Carl Urban's great in it because with Judge Dredd, you don't take the helmet off. He never takes the helmet off
Oh, that's cool. Do
because
we ever
Judge Dredd
see
never
his face?
because no one's ever seen Judge Dredd's face.
Right. Oh,
Even in
right.
the comics, you never see him without the helmet off.
Right.
Even when he's taking a bath, he's like, there's like a thing up in shadow. You can only see his chin. So because of that, Judge Dredd, very strong chin game, and Carl Urban is having a very strong chin game in this film.
Right.
And it's sort of like 'cause it's only set in this one building.
Mm-hmm.
it's sort of like a bottle episode sort of thing.
Yeah.
He's just taking down this one gang who's doing drugs, putting all the drugs and all the stuff. He's getting by. She wants to go out again. Good
Honey,
God.
what's wrong?
I can't leave the door open because of the noise that the outside world makes.
Bless.
I don't know what this dog wants.
She's having a good explore in the house she's lived in all her life.
Yes. She should know it by now.
Exactly.
So she should be chill.
No, there's bits she's not explored yet.
Not every every single blade of grass needs to be pissed on. But no, Dread, if you haven't seen it, I would recommend watching it.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on Prime or anything. I've got it on Prime because we bought it.
Right.
But I don't know if it's on anything.
Somewhere.
No, I'm going to check.
Yeah.
What is Dread on? Because you can check now, can't you? Well, Dread.
Because from that, and that really sounds something that I'd really like.
And the dog is barking outside.
Oh.
It's from 2012.
Oh right, that's
So
not too long ago.
so it came out and then was destroyed by Avengers Assemble, I believe.
Oh no, yeah, it would have been, wouldn't it?
It is not on anything.
Oh damn!
Which you know where to watch.
Is the Sylvester
Apple
Stallone?
TV, which I think you'll probably have to pay for it on that,
Yeah.
and Amazon Prime, which I think you'll probably have to pay for it on that.
It'll come eventually. I've seen it before on streaming services.
Oh, okay.
It'll probably come back at some point. I'll watch the original one instead.
No, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself.
Sylvester Stallone.
I mean, if you like Stallone, it's not his best performance either.
I don't really care about
Yeah,
Sylvester
why'd you
Stallone.
care
I like it when he does roles, like silly roles, like
Silly roles.
King Shark. Because I like it because he's a bit selfless when he does that. You know when.
No, but he is a guy. I would say
Yeah,
he gets overlooked as an actor.
Yeah.
Because he is a very good actor.
Yeah,
I
he
would
is.
say. Don't know if you've seen
Definitely.
Copland.
No.
That is a very good performance by
Right.
him.
Okay. So I like
And
Rocky.
Copland's great.
Yeah. And
He's good in Rocky, and in the first Creed,
Yeah,
he got nominated for an Oscar
Yeah.
for obvious reasons. Because that's an
Great.
incredible performance by him.
He did a really good job with taking the Rocky franchise in a new direction with Creed.
Yes.
I love that trilogy. And he just did a really good job with it. Like he did it really well. Like he wasn't the main character, even though he was in it a lot. And then I know he wasn't in the third one.
In the first Rambo, he's great.
First Rambo, and
Which is called First Blood,
yeah,
Part 1.
part one. Heck, how many indicators do you need to? This
Rambo
is the first
franchise
film.
is First Blood, then it was renamed First Blood Part 1 because First Blood Part 2 came out,
Right.
and then it was Rambo 3,
Yeah.
and then it was
Three.
Rambo,
Yeah, and then
and then it was I think it was
Last
Rambo
Blood?
Last Blood, which I haven't seen.
it's quite recent, wasn't it? Last Blood.
Well,
Like 5 years ago.
5 years ago, recent.
Yeah.
Anyway, have you got Dread? I would say very much check out.
Yeah,
Very much of the comic book character.
that's good.
People love that film.
Yeah.
Like a lot. It's got a really big cult following.
Okay.
Like if you go to Comic-Con, if you see like someone dressed as Judge Dredd,
Yeah.
it's more than likely going to be based on what the character looks like in that film,
Right. Okay.
rather than what the comic looks like.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fancier in the comic. And in the film, he looks more he's more like a riot cop
Right.
who's now a judge or jury, but it's got like some of the comic book quirkiness. Like he's got the big badge that says Dread on it, and he's got the helmet as well, the iconic helmet,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I'm sure you've seen.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
It's red, isn't it?
It's sort of like red and gold, and
Red,
it's got like the visor so you can't see his
Yeah,
eyes and all
yeah.
that. Would you like to give us another one, Robert? As I take the dog in for like the 4th time. This is the last time, Holly. You stay there.
I think Invincible. Should we talk about Invincible?
Should we talk
had
about
a
Invincible?
conversation about
Yes,
it
we did have,
yesterday.
yes.
I have only seen season 1. Loved season 1. One of my probably favourite seasons of television ever.
Yeah, it's great.
And I've seen the Atom Eve special, and I've seen the first episode of season 2. But
Therefore, he is an expert on the subject.
yes, on season 1, even though I don't remember it, that was the thing. Is I didn't carry on with season 1 because season 2, sorry, because I'd just forgotten everything that had happened in season 1 because it was such a long break.
There's a recap.
I know there's a recap, but it was just so hard for me to get back into those characters the same way.
Sure.
It just felt like I was like missing information, like I'd watched a franchise 3 films in or something like that.
Sure.
You know, and maybe I will come back to it. I might need to watch like a recap for like half an hour video on YouTube or something. But you have seen all of it.
I have seen all of it so far, and I have read Compendium 1 of Invincible, which is like 55 issues. Because there's like different versions. You've got the comic book, which is 1 issue. It's about between like 15 and 30 pages.
Yeah.
And then that moves up to a graphic novel, which is like between 6 and 10 issues.
Yeah.
And then you get an omnibus, which is about 20 to 25 issues, and then that's a compendium, which is a bunch more issues. It's like 3 or 4 graphic novels.
Right.
So there's different versions of it. I've read about 55 issues of Invincible.
Right.
At issue 13 of the comic, you get to the end of the first season of Invincible. with some bits from like issues forward.
Yeah.
In like the first season, so you've got more stuff in the first season. Because I think they were about like 45 minutes an episode, weren't they?
Yeah, that's quite.
Oh, still are. It still exists. The show. So season 2. By the end of season 2, we have pretty much wrapped up the first compendium of I think 4, because spoiler, in the Invincibles comic books, they have ended. It's not an ongoing thing. It has a beginning. It has an end.
Yeah.
We have seen the beginning. We will probably see the end.
Right.
Because it is popular.
Yeah, it is.
And I think the comic was popular throughout.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why we can't get it all.
Yeah.
I would say. I think I would like to see that.
Yeah, so would I. I agree with that. I think it should carry on.
Amazon Prime should show up Netflix and say, "Hey, we complete series.
Yes,
we complete stuff.
Oh my God.
We're gonna finish The Boys. We're gonna finish Invincible."
Prime have such strong TV shows.
Yeah, they got a very strong lineup.
Yeah, and they don't go like overboard with it. Really, like they release like a right amount. I know like Netflix has a whole catalogue and they've been doing it for quite a bit longer, but I don't know. It just feels like the Prime shows.
I feel like most people have Netflix.
Yeah.
And Prime.
Yeah.
Mostly because Netflix is probably the better streaming service.
Yeah.
But Prime, you also get the streaming as well as free delivery.
Exactly. That's the perks, and that's a great system to have.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Someone has to talk.
I'm
Robbie,
the dog.
you're not talking. You can stroke and.
I just lost.
You lost your train of thought. You brought up Invincible.
I did bring up.
You have to keep talking about it. I can't do the heavy lifting for you.
I do remember watching season 1 and being blown away by the ending
Of the first episode, or the ending in general.
with Omni-Man and when everything gets revealed and spoiler alert. But it's just
Because I will say the
don't
first
expect
graphic
that.
novel of Invincible.
Yeah.
So that's like the first 6 or 7 issues.
Right.
You're like, that's sort of a fun comic.
Yeah.
Fun coming of age new superhero thing. I might give it another read. Might read the second graphic novel. If you pick up the second graphic novel,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, fun. Oh my God! Because you get to that bit at the first episode, at the end of the first episode, and then you're like, what's going on?
Mind
So it's very incredible.
Yeah, it is, and it's cut from a very similar cloth to The Boys as well. And
Yes.
they are very
Both
similar but very different.
Both of which Seth Rogen is involved in.
Exactly.
Seth Rogen is an like a producer, an executive producer on both.
Yeah.
He also voices Alan the Alien.
Yes, he does. Yeah. He should just be an executive producer in everything, really, because all his projects have worked out really well.
A perpetual child.
Yes.
Never changed, Seth Rogen.
Never change. He's really good at what he does.
He is very good at what he does.
Very good. But yeah, it is a great series, and talking about it makes me really want to watch season 2.
Yes, because you.
I enjoyed the first episode
should,
as well. I was just like
You're
really
busy.
struggling.
You're busy with your dance moms.
That's what it is.
Too much dance
Busy with
moms,
my
not
dance
enough
moms.
Invincible.
Oh, no, that's a statement I'll never say. Can't help it. I'm addicted. Addictions.
Well, at least you're addicted to that and not,
Other things.
other things. Like Michael Bay
God.
or Zack Snyder.
Oh, Zack Snyder.
Do you want me to give you to cap us off? Do you want me to give you like just a few more
Yeah,
to round us off? The Crow,
Yeah.
based on a comic book. A pretty good comic book. The first one with Brandon Lee.
Yeah.
Very beloved. A cult classic. Less said about the rest. I feel the better.
How many Crow films are there?
There is the initial The Crow.
Yep.
There's The Crow, City of Angels. There's The Crow, Wicked Prayer. I think there's another like straight to TV movie. I think they did like a season of a show. And then we've got the new one with Bill Skarsgård.
Because so many people loved the second and third one that they were like, we need to make a TV film. And yeah, that is insane.
It is insane, yes.
And then Bill Skarsgård, which you have seen.
Which I have seen.
And
apart from a few moments, it's not great.
Okay.
I would give it a nay.
A nay.
Over a yay.
That's
Unfortunately.
Is that so? How does that one sort of? Is that one similar to the comics? How's the original film compared to the comic? If you know.
I'm not that well versed on the comic itself.
Yeah.
I would say it's more up in the air, a la the first one.
Okay.
The new one takes a lot of time to explain how the world works.
Right.
And by saying it takes a lot of time, it wastes time explaining it. Takes most of its time explaining it. I'm just gonna mention a few more here.
Yeah.
Spawn. People might know it's like a not very good movie from the 90s,
Right.
but was spawned out of the Image comic that it is based on.
Right.
Spawn, of course, is probably the original character from Image. I think he was the first thing that went to publication.
Right.
There's most things that went to publication like almost at the same day. Spawn has very much become like one of Image's most iconic characters, I think. So Spawn, if you're interested, but again, not a very good film. There is also Sin City, which is also based on a comic. You'll probably see that because the start of the film starts with like snapshots of the comic and also the characters in said comic and with next to the name of the actor.
Oh right.
That they are playing.
Yeah.
So Bruce Willis's name comes next to the comic book character of the person he's playing, and Mickey Rourke as well. Sin City, it's all right.
I haven't seen.
I quite enjoy it. So it's very stylized, like the black and whites of it. It has a look.
Yeah.
That I quite like.
Good.
And it's got a good cast as well. Bruce Willis, Mickey Rourke, Jessica Alba's in it.
Oh, okay.
As well.
Cool.
Other people whose name I can't remember.
Lady Gaga in the second one.
Lady Gaga's in the second one, I think.
Yeah.
Eva Green's in the second one as well.
Oh, I like it.
I made me lose train of thought. Rosario Dawson's also in the first one as well. It's got a lot of good people in it.
There's a lot of good people.
I think it focuses around like three sort of vigilante-esque people, so it's telling three stories in one.
Yeah.
It works for me. I feel.
That's good.
Also, of course, Darkman by director Sam Raimi.
I have seen that film.
Sam Raimi, also based on a comic book. But the final one that I want to mention in detail is one of my favourite comic book movies ever.
Mm.
It's the second of the one, and it's Hellboy 2, The Golden Army.
Yeah.
I will also mention the first Hellboy.
Yeah.
And the new Hellboy that they have made, and the one that is coming out next week. So there's now 4 Hellboy movies.
That is insane. That is so mad.
It is so mad. So the initial Hellboy movies, starring Ron Perlman, directed by Guillermo del Toro. Now the first one is good. I watched that one the other day. It's a good introduction.
Yeah.
It's very much, the first one is very much of the comics.
Right. Yeah.
It takes very close attention to the comic books and puts a little bit of Del Toro in it as well. Because the characters are already inherently quite Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Because
the fish person.
Yes, because he read the comic and enjoyed it. He
That's
says there's no correlation between Abe Sapien and the one you see in Shape of Water. Even though, you know, maybe he's got a thing for weird fish sex. We won't judge you, Guillermo.
It's fine. I loved that film.
You have your preferences. I don't want to see your internet history, but you know, you have your preferences. It's fine. They were both great. It's nice. I mean, it's not great that that had to be the first sci-fi film to win an Oscar, but to win Best Picture.
Yeah.
But sure, first sci-fi film to win Best Picture.
Yeah.
The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
Not Star Wars.
No.
Or anything else.
No.
But I'm sure it's great. I've never seen it.
You
love it. You really love it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But the first Hellboy, great. I will. Ron Perlman is great.
Yeah.
He's like perfect as Hellboy, I feel. And Doug Jones as Abe Sapien. In the first one, he's not doing the voice.
Oh, right.
It's someone from. It's not Frasier. It's Frasier's mate.
Oh, okay.
The other guy.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's that guy doing the voice. But by the second one, the guy said Doug Jones does a very good job at just doing the voice in general. Just let Doug Jones do it.
Yeah.
So Doug Jones did it.
Oh,
And in between the two films, they did like 2 animated films with all the cast returning to voice the characters in.
That's really cool.
In the anime, and the animated films are also
right.
also quite good.
I didn't know that they existed.
There's a lot more Hellboy in the world than you think.
Definitely is.
So the first one's based on like the first like initial few comics of Hellboy called Seed of Destruction.
Right.
Because it's centered around Rasputin and Returning of Thing, and him being like, oh, I'm gonna. He's meant to, destroy the world.
Yeah.
Is Hellboy. The second one, Guillermo del Toro was allowed to make because of the success of Pan's Labyrinth.
Right.
So the first one did okay, but not enough to say, oh, I want to make a sequel of this. Then he made Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
That was a hit. And the studio said, we're going to let you make any film you want. What do you want to make? Do you want to make, you can put you up for this? Do you want to make, are you up for, we need someone for Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Would you like to do Prisoner of Azkaban? He said, no, I want to do Hellboy 2. So we let his friend Alfonso Cuarón do Prisoner of Azkaban instead.
That's insane.
So he was up for.
So cool.
Yeah.
Imagine.
And also, I think at this point he was also sort of working on the Hobbit stuff because he was initially up for doing the direct for the Hobbit. I think it was going to be 2 films at that point. And then he just got too busy and they didn't like his design, so they went back to Peter Jackson. And Peter Jackson had to do it in a rush, and that's where those films are that bad.
Yeah, I enjoy them, but they are nowhere near on the caliber of the original 3.
But Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, I think takes what the original film and the comics and just makes more of it. And I like all the jokes in it. I think the action's better. I like all the new characters they've had. I like the chemistry between the 2 people. I like all the acting in it. It's just a great, fun time that no one has seen. Well, surely people have seen it by now because it's always on ITV2 late at night.
At 9 o'clock, we've got Hellboy 2: The Golden Army.
It's normally at 11.
Yeah. Oh my god.
They play Shaun of the Dead first.
Yes, and then a film that
On
everyone
ITV3,
wants to watch.
and then a film that no one really wants to watch. But if you stick around, you'll have a good time
Yeah,
because it's good. And it's about fitting in and
right.
all that, and because he just wants to be normal, which is why Hellboy's like things look like that.
Yeah,
Because like shaved down horns, because he shaves them down
right
to make him feel like he's normal. Otherwise, they will grow back into horns. And everyone's good in it. The practical and visual effects are on point. It's just a great fun time. Hellboy 2.
I actually need to watch. See, you've given really good reviews of films that I haven't seen, and
I try. God knows if I'm not going to be good at the job, what am I going to do?
How about the reboot with David Harbour?
With David Harbour, I liked David Harbour as
Okay.
Hellboy. I thought he was a good choice.
Mm.
I thought the film was all right.
Right.
I was all right with the film. It's just a shame that it didn't look finished,
Right.
especially
Solid.
near the end.
Right.
It
I
didn't look
see.
finished, but it had some good ideas, and was very much like the comics themselves.
Right.
Written by Mike Mignola, I think his name is. He might be drawn by him as well, although I'm not sure. But there's been a bunch of games as well that have also about Hellboy. There's one that's come out recently, I think, which Mike Mignola has a lot to do with. It says, "Oh, this is my vision." After saying before, "Oh, this is my vision. Oh, this is my vision." He keeps changing what the vision is. But yeah, Hellboy is a very underrated character. I think more people should be involved with.
Yeah.
And I am actually quite excited for Hellboy the Crooked Man. I am actually more excited to see it than Megalopolis. Despite them coming out on the same day, I'll be seeing something else.
Something very different.
Something very different. I'll be stuck in the cinema for 4 hours, and then I'll watch Hellboy.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to that.
We need to be looking forward to it, Robert.
Yeah, we need to be.
We need to be like, yes, this is
Optimistic.
optimistic. This is a new thing.
Is
Don't
it 4
sigh.
hours?
Be about that, won't it? He's an old man, and he's an author. Of course, it's going to be 4
He sold
hours.
his vineyard to
Sold
make
his
this
vineyard
film.
to do this.
Who does that?
Someone who loves movies,
There are parts of that trailer that look really impressive.
and there are parts that look shit.
Yes. So that's not what I'm just. Can we just have the part of the films that look?
The
good?
Shia LaBeouf bits, yeah.
Oh, for crying out loud! Okay, we could spend an hour talking about Megalopolis.
We'll do that next week,
Oh.
or the week after
God.
we've seen it. I've heard mixed things. I don't know.
Yeah. I kind of like that because
Mm,
you know it's like it's your own interpretation of it,
true.
which is really fun. But it's also like
Although I hear there's also audience participation.
yeah, I've heard that too.
So
And,
how is that going to work?
I don't know how does that how
I
what if-
don't know.
what if there's
In a festival, maybe it makes sense.
but it's just like oh I don't know I hate that it's the whole point
But again,
of
we
the film.
don't know at this point. We haven't seen it.
If you want to be involved in a film that much, go to a 4DX showing. That is audience participation, as far as I'm concerned.
If you're near Florida, go to Disneyland and watch Muppet Vision. That's pretty much what it is. And you know, see Muppet Vision while you can, because you know
Yeah,
there's
that's going, isn't it?
they're introducing a new land, and you know where's it gonna go?
That's really
But somewhat's gonna have to go. Where's it gonna go?
The Muppets are slowly disappearing.
Yes,
and
we
it's
need
really
more Muppets in our
upsetting.
life.
We
We
do.
need more Muppets.
Just make like another film.
Stop making live action.
Yeah.
Disney, stop making live action reimaginings of your old films. Make Muppet versions.
Was Muppets Most Wanted a huge flop? Yes.
Yes,
But still.
but it's good.
Yes, I love that film. Really great. It's
And
also a good
And
musical.
people can't hate the Muppets. It's
Exactly.
impossible to hate Muppets.
Yeah.
This is the second week in a row we've talked about Muppets.
But, well, they are important.
They are important to us, and they're important to everyone else.
Yes, exactly.
Just do Beauty and the Beast, but everyone's a Muppet except for the Beast, who is a man.
Yes.
And when he transforms back, he transforms into a Muppet.
Yes. Oh my god. I'm sold.
It's perfect, isn't it?
It is.
I've worked it out.
I don't know why they don't do it. Or do like a TV show where like they have hour episodes of just Disney fairy tales reimagined with the Muppets.
With the Muppets.
Boom.
You should do Disney film, but with Muppets. But you have at least one person who's human.
Yes, like special guest stars, like they would do on the
special
show.
guest stars.
I think we should pitch this.
You know what? Just redo the Muppet Show again. Just bring it back.
Do it.
Just do the Muppet Show again.
Oh, this is
surely it's not expensive. They are just puppets.
Literally.
It's people. I mean, come on. How difficult is that? How cheap is that?
We need them back in our lives.
I need Muppets. I need more Muppets in my life.
That's when our lives went.
Sure, I haven't seen Muppets on the road, but so I'm not really a best spokesperson for this.
Muppet, is that the Mayhem?
Yeah.
That's really good.
Is it good?
It's a really good show. Moving right. No, that's the feeling like a hurricane, and the theme song's really good. You get Baby Animal in it.
A baby animal.
Baby Animal.
Oh, I miss Muppet Babies as well.
Muppet
Babies.
Yeah, that's great.
We're of an era.
I'm proud of it.
I'm proud of it.
Oh.
If all you know is from Muppets is Muppet Christmas Carol, then you're missing out on so much Muppet.
Revamp your life. Just get Disney Plus. And
just get Disney Plus, and you've got watch the Muppet Show,
yes.
and then watch the Muppet movie.
Yeah, original one.
And then watch Muppet Treasure Island.
Yeah.
And then watch The Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yeah. And then watch The Muppets.
And then watch The Muppets.
Which is great.
It's great. It's so good.
And then watch the sequel, which is a bit insane, but it's fine.
It's fine.
Cut from the same sort of cloth.
It's being different.
Yeah, it's a Muppets mystery. Even though we know what the mystery is.
Muppistery. A Muppistery.
And it's a musical, like the first one was, but it's got like proper musical numbers in it.
We're back by popular. That's where that's from.
Yeah.
You've probably seen it on your TikTok, and you didn't know where it was from. It's from that
Muppets
movie.
Most Wanted.
So anyway, Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, must watch.
I must watch film.
So there you have it. We've done some comic book movies that are non-Marvel and non-DC that you may have missed out on because everything's Marvel and DC and superhero stuff. We've given you some more options.
Yeah.
We also didn't mention Kick-Ass. That's also
Matthew Vaughn again.
Yeah, with Matthew Vaughn again. That's a pretty good one. Matthew Vaughn, I will say. And the show The Walking Dead.
Yep.
Also based on a comic. So yeah. Go and enjoy them. I would say just watch season 1 of The Walking Dead.
Right.
The rest of it's a bit of a waste. And it goes so long as well.
There's so many seasons, so many spin-offs, so many.
Yeah, they've milked that to dry.
Yeah, and they still are.
Well, at least the creator of The Walking Dead's doing all right for himself.
Yeah, that's true.
Because of that.
God.
He's living off just The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And yet he also created Invincible.
Oh my gosh, that is brilliant.
So he is doing okay.
He's a mastermind.
He's just a very creative guy.
Yeah.
On the comic book page.
Definitely.
Is that the show though?
I think we've covered a lot of ground.
We've covered a lot of ground in that show. Thank you very much for watching and listening. If you've been watching on the YouTubes, give us a like, give us a subscribe, push the bell notification so you never miss an episode. We have the 2 shows before. Focused on the films of Tim Burton.
Yep.
And the one before, we go through our 10 favourite films of all time. So that's 20 films for you to watch.
Yep.
In total, well, technically 19, because we do have one film that is the same. Is the same, yes. We are also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So please give us a listen there. Leave a comment if you want us to do something else.
If
you've got a topic that you want us to do, if you want to send us any messages or questions, we'll answer them.
Feel free to
on
do
the
so.
podcast. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.
What are we doing next week, Robert?
Oh, this is your surprise.
What should we do?
Well,
I've run out of ideas. Please give us a please.
I thought an episode on guilty pleasures would be very fun. So this isn't where like you sit there and enjoy it and feel bad, but these are the films that are maybe not so critically acclaimed, but you love.
I'm going to find difficulty with that one.
Okay.
Because I don't believe in guilty pleasures.
Yes.
I feel just like what you like, but I will find some for you.
Yeah. Just like films that maybe have a bad rep, or the reviews
or you maybe have nostalgia for.
Yeah.
Even though you know it's probably a bad film.
Yeah. Like that.
That is a good topic. I feel good. Yay! He's come up with a thing. Ain't he proud of himself? Anyway, that is the show. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and listening. It's mostly listening. Yeah. I should say thank you for listening. And we will see you all in the next one.
Goodbye.